Well. So Daddy Dumpy Pants didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, and people all across the interwebs today are celebrating in a big way because that Nobel Peace Prize went a Hispanic woman's way.
I don't say this out of ego, but I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
I ended 7 wars. I stopped 7 wars.
They said I stopped 7 wars. Remember, they were going to be at war with North Korea. Where's the war?
There's a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes. I never even got a mention.
Well, our father in racism, DJT, did not win the Nobel Peace Prize, and he is crying. He does not like the idea that he did not get it, number one, and a woman got it. Ladies and gentlemen, DJT thinks he's Jesus Christ. He's been bragging over and over again how he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize because I ended 7 wars. They wouldn't have stopped if I was not president, so I deserve it. Well, he did not get it.
I think I'm going to get a Nobel Prize for a lot of things if they gave it out fairly, which they don't.
Well. So Daddy Dumpy Pants didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, and people all across the interwebs today are celebrating in a big way because that Nobel Peace Prize went a Hispanic woman's way. And I don't mean to piss in your Cheerios today, but there's more to this story, and you need to see it and spread it expeditiously, okay? Okay, hold on while I grab you the screenshot, and then we'll talk about this. According to reporting out of Politico today, the Venezuelan opposition leader dedicates her Nobel Peace Prize to Trump for decisive support. I dedicate this prize to the suffering people of Venezuela and to the President Trump for his decisive support of our cause. Sorry, didn't mean to piss in your Cheerios on this Friday, baby. But there you have it. Now let's connect some dots here. What is Daddy Dumpy Pants and Petey Kegsbreath currently doing in the Caribbean, friend? That's right, committing war crimes. Claiming that they're taking out Venezuelan drug trafficking terrorists. But we already know that one of those boats had Colombians on them, dear. Citizens, not terrorists, not drug traffickers, just some Colombian men. So, are you starting to connect the dots here, dear? Yes. Now, I'm not for the guy who is currently running Venezuela. And I thought I was for this lady right here. But now that the dots are connecting today, and I'm seeing that maybe, just maybe, she's using Daddy Dumpy Pants and the U.S. military to commit war crimes for her to possibly remove the other guy so she could have that seat, well, it starts to make me think she's really not about peace. I guess you could say maybe she's okay with blowing away fellow Venezuelans today and Colombians too. It's not a good look for you, boo. It is not a good look for you, boo. And it never works out well for those who decide to play with that orange guy on any day. But please, share this bit of tea expeditiously. Because I can see people all across the globe today that are happy that that Nobel Peace Prize did not go Daddy's way. So let's show them the entirety of this play.
U.S. President Trump says he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for resolving wars. But how is the winner chosen, and what are the chances of Trump getting the prize? Let's take a closer look.
Well, this is not how I expected to wake up this morning. After I received the news, Malia walked in and said, Daddy, you won the Nobel Peace Prize, and it is Beau's birthday. And then Sasha added, plus we have a 3-day weekend coming up. So it's good to have kids to keep things in perspective. I am both surprised and deeply humbled by the decision of the Nobel Committee. Let me be clear, I do not view it as a recognition of my own accomplishments, but rather as an affirmation of American leadership on behalf of aspirations held by people in all nations. To be honest, I do not feel that I deserve to be in the company of so many of the transformative figures who've been honored by this prize, men and women who've inspired me and inspired the entire world through their courageous pursuit of peace. But I also know that this prize reflects the kind of world that those men and women and all Americans want to build, a world that gives life to the promise of our founding documents. And I know that throughout history, the Nobel Peace Prize has not just been used to honor specific achievement, it's also been used as a means to give momentum to a set of causes.
Oh boy. I'm sure he still remembers why Obama got it. Anyway, what do? It's Black Power. Maybe he just doesn't have it. I don't know. Maybe DJT actually thinks, y'all don't think DJT thinks he got it? I really think, like, in his head, he's like, I am Jesus Christ. I deserve it. Yeah, I stopped 6 words. Like, yeah, if you guys had Kamala, you would never literally have peace. So, yeah, I deserve it. Oh, surprise, surprise. He didn't get it. And guess who was happy, by the way, that DJT did not get the Nobel Peace Prize win? Everybody. And everybody's so happy. I am shocked. Even MAGA is happy. Y'all understand these days, MAGA, they're literally bucking up. They're like, it's not what we expected that you survey. But yeah, they're also happy that he didn't get it. As you know me on this channel, I will always tell you, I get shocked when I see fellow people that look like him get happy when he's sad. Because they are the people that are supposed to serve and protect and celebrate for him, with him, for better or worse. So seeing them literally also happy that they didn't get it gives me a sense of they're tired of your MFs.
The funniest thing that ever could have happened just happened. Trump lost the Nobel Peace Prize to a woman, and not just any woman, but a woman fighting a dictator. It's so poetic, I could cry. He's been bragging about bringing peace to the Middle East for months. He genuinely believed that he had this in the bag. He's talked about it on stage non-stop. He even name-dropped Norway, probably even practiced his acceptance speech in the mirror, and the Peace Committee was like, yeah, not you though. Instead, the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize went to somebody who actually deserved it, a Venezuelan opposition leader named Maria Mercado, who has spent years risking her freedom fighting for democracy. She's been threatened, silenced, and attacked, and she still refuses to back down. Meanwhile, Trump's version of peace is, well, tweeting through international crises and almost starting a civil war. Just to get it straight, the woman who stands up to a dictator also beats a wannabe dictator. That's not irony, that's justice with perfect comedic timing. And no, he has not responded yet, but give it like an hour. Truth Social is about to look like a diary entry, all in caps lock. So he didn't get the Peace Prize, but he did bring the world together to laugh at him.
As you may be aware by now, I hate it when the world doesn't revolve around me. As you are likely aware, Donald Trump did not win the Nobel Peace Prize. And if you, like me, were a little nervous about that, because that is just how wonky the world is right now. And by wonky, I mean totally fucked. You were a little, it could happen. Then I would remind myself that the US government was not involved in that decision, so integrity still had a chance.
Maria Corina Machado.
Now, I'm not too proud to admit that I have no idea who that is, but I can tell it's a woman and she's not white. And for totally vindictive reasons, my response to that is yay. Because I have the ability to Google, unlike what appears to be half the internet, I DuckDuckGo. I can tell you this woman fought for democracy for the people of Venezuela. Maybe she can come here and help. Described as having an extraordinary amount of courage, a unifying figure who helped bring together oppositional parties for real, like Can We Get Her Here? Venezuela devolved from a relatively democratic country to one of brutal authority and dictatorship. It was a prosperous country who started to suffer greatly under authoritarian leadership. Point made, Nobel Peace Prize people. This authoritarian regime enacted violence against its own people. More than 8 million people left the country, and there was election rigging. I wonder if Elon Musk was as familiar with their voting machines as Donald Trump claims he is about ours. So this award acknowledges the fact that Venezuela is in trouble. This may actually be used to fuel Trump's fire against Venezuela. He's been looking for a WAR to, put off those elections. He's been targeting Venezuela anyway by eliminating their little boats that he claims involved illegal activity, of course, offering no evidence whatsoever. Obviously, she's an amazing person who deserves this award, unlike our president, who is about to direct a lot of misplaced anger at his own citizens, because, Trump.
In today's episode of As the White Hood Turns, I'm going to give y'all 3 guesses as to who didn't win the Nobel Prize. The Nobel Peace Prize. That's right, y'all guessed it. Syphilitic Sid did not win the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know why he thought he was... I can't even make this video with a straight face. I really can't. I want to, but I can't, because this motherfucker over here really thought somebody was going to give him the Nobel Peace Prize. I feel like they should give him the non-existent Nobel Peace Prize for the non-existent wars he ended. The fuck are we even talking about right now? But the lady who won, interestingly enough, called Syphilitic Sid a visionary. So, I had to do a deeper dive. I understand that, she's fighting for democracy and she's in hiding and all of those kind of things. I'm really still trying to figure out why she called him a visionary, other than you need somebody like him to come in and fuck everything up so that then you can rebuild a more democratic republic. Maybe that's what she meant, because the fuck. Also, did y'all hear? He plans to give himself the Kennedy Center honor. He said he's going to honor himself. I want to be serious. I'm trying really hard to be serious. So I'm going to go collect myself and I'm going to come back later. Because, goodbye.
I don't say this out of ego, but I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
I ended 7 wars. I stopped 7 wars.
I said I stopped 7 wars. Remember, they were going to be at war with North Korea. Where's the war?
There's a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes. I never even got a mention.
I think I'm going to get a Nobel Prize for a lot of things if they gave it out fairly, which they don't.
Probably never get it, but that's okay. They gave it to Obama. He didn't even know what he got it for.
Well, they gave one to Obama. He had no idea why he got it. And you know what? That was the only thing I agreed with him on. When Obama came to office, they said, we're going to give him the Nobel Peace Prize. He actually said, what did I do? I didn't do anything. He didn't do anything for 8 years, frankly.
But I thought it was very generous of President Moon of South Korea to make that statement. He said, I have nominated you respectfully on behalf of Japan. I am asking them to give you the Nobel Peace Prize.
He has actually, withdrawn the US from international cooperation. He has withdrawn the US from the World Health Organization, from the Paris Accords on climate. He has, initiated a trade war on old friends and allies.
Well. So Daddy Dumpy Pants didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, and people all across the interwebs today are celebrating in a big way because that Nobel Peace Prize went a Hispanic woman's way. And I don't mean to piss in your Cheerios today, but there's more to this story, and you need to see it and spread it expeditiously, okay? Okay, hold on while I grab you the screenshot, and then we'll talk about this. According to reporting out of Politico today, the Venezuelan opposition leader dedicates her Nobel Peace Prize to Trump for decisive support. I dedicate this prize to the suffering people of Venezuela and to the President Trump for his decisive support of our cause. Sorry, didn't mean to piss in your Cheerios on this Friday, baby. But there you have it. Now let's connect some dots here. What is Daddy Dumpy Pants and Petey Kegsbreath currently doing in the Caribbean, friend? That's right, committing war crimes. Claiming that they're taking out Venezuelan drug trafficking terrorists. But we already know that one of those boats had Colombians on them, dear. Citizens, not terrorists, not drug traffickers, just some Colombian men. So, are you starting to connect the dots here, dear? Yes. Now, I'm not for the guy who is currently running Venezuela. And I thought I was for this lady right here. But now that the dots are connecting today, and I'm seeing that maybe, just maybe, she's using Daddy Dumpy Pants and the U.S. military to commit war crimes for her to possibly remove the other guy so she could have that seat, well, it starts to make me think she's really not about peace. I guess you could say maybe she's okay with blowing away fellow Venezuelans today and Colombians too. It's not a good look for you, boo. It is not a good look for you, boo. And it never works out well for those who decide to play with that orange guy on any day. But please, share this bit of tea expeditiously, because I can see people all across the globe today that are happy that that Nobel Peace Prize did not go Daddy's way. So let's show them the entirety of this play.
U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly said he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and he'd like to have it. He even said that it would be an insult to the United States if he doesn't get it. What does as the chairman of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, think of this, and how has this campaign-like activity by the president and his supporters, domestically and internationally, affected the deliberations and the thinking in the committee?
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee have seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
A call for all nations to confront the common challenges of the 21st century. These challenges can't be met by any one leader or any one nation. And that's why my administration's worked to establish a new era of engagement in which all nations must take responsibility for the world we seek. We cannot tolerate a world in which nuclear weapons spread to more nations and in which the terror of a nuclear holocaust endangers more people. And that's why we've begun to take concrete steps to pursue a world without nuclear weapons, because all nations have the right to pursue peaceful nuclear power, but all nations have the responsibility to demonstrate their peaceful intentions. We cannot accept the growing threat posed by climate change, which could forever damage the world that we pass on to our children, sowing conflict and famine, destroying coastlines and emptying cities. And that's why all nations must now accept their share of responsibility for transforming the way that we use energy. We can't allow the differences between peoples to define the way that we see one another. And that's why we must pursue a new beginning among people of different faiths and races and religions, one based upon mutual interest and mutual respect. And we must all do our part to resolve those conflicts that have caused so much pain and hardship over so many years. And that effort must include an unwavering commitment that finally realizes the rights of all Israelis and Palestinians to live in peace and security in nations of their own. We can't accept a world in which more people are denied opportunity and dignity that all people yearn for, the ability to get an education and make a decent living, the security that you won't have to live in fear of disease or violence without hope for the future. And even as we strive to seek a world in which conflicts are resolved peacefully and prosperity is widely shared, we have to confront the world as we know it today. I am the commander-in-chief of a country that's responsible for ending a war and working in another theater to confront a ruthless adversary that directly threatens the American people and our allies. I'm also aware that we are dealing with the impact of a global economic crisis that has left millions of Americans looking for work. These are concerns that I confront every day on behalf of the American people. Some of the work confronting us will not be completed during my presidency. Some, like the elimination of nuclear weapons, may not be completed in my lifetime. But I know these challenges can be met, so long as it's recognized that they will not be met by one person or one nation alone. This award is not simply about the efforts of my administration, it's about the courageous efforts of people around the world. And that's why this award must be shared with everyone who strives for justice and dignity. For the young woman who marches silently in the streets on behalf of her right to be heard, even in the face of beatings and bullets. For the leader imprisoned in her own home because she refuses to abandon her commitment to democracy. For the soldier who sacrificed through tour after tour of duty on behalf of someone half a world away. And for all those men and women across the world who sacrificed their safety and their freedom and sometimes their lives for the cause of peace. That has always been the cause of America. That's why the world has always looked to America. And that's why I believe America will continue to lead.